Okay, good morning everybody, and welcome to the second week, and I hope you all had a very good week. I'm sure many of us were tired at the weekend, having had to get up early in the morning, which is difficult after a long summer break. Well, I thought we've got a medley of things in this morning's assembly. I'll just talk about something that is very dear to my heart, and then we've got a presentation from the head girl and head boy about Vivum. We've got Rohan, a 45er, who is sending his message, and then we've got the peer support group and other messages at the end. So I'll start off. Now, I particularly enjoyed this summer break because of all the sport that I was able to watch. So there was Wimbledon, there was the football Euros, then there was, of course, the Olympics, and now there's Test cricket. But I want to particularly talk about the Olympics. And obviously this was a very unusual occasion, a very unusual, unprecedented Olympics, as it was delayed because of COVID. But I also feel that each Olympic evolves. And although the sport is important, the sport is a vehicle to actually give us some legacies and some very key messages and insights into changes that are not only happening in sport, but also changes that are happening within our societies, actually. So Tokyo's motto was faster, higher, stronger, together, and that obviously reflected the pandemic scenario that they were in. And there are three core concepts which I think is important for us as we start our academic year: was achieving our personal best and striving to be your personal best, accepting one another for who we are, and passing on a legacy for the future, so connecting with each other. And I think those three were all key messages that were given last week by various people. So that was Tokyo's three core concepts. And what I'm going to do, what I've done, is I've picked my top 10 messages from what has been an extraordinary Olympics, not only for certain nations and for certain athletes, but I think as a whole, there's been so much that we can learn from the Olympics. Of course, I'm not going to pull out some of the negativities. There was a horrible incident in the women's marathon, which wasn't very sportsmanlike. And something I did object to was some athletes were choosing to use the podium as a way of protesting. And I don't think that's the proper occasion to do that. So there were some negatives, but I've picked my top 10 sort of messages and legacies from the Tokyo Olympics. So number one. So this is Isaiah Jewett and Nigel Amos, who in the 800 meters tripped over each other. And can you imagine having spent 5 years of training, of making sacrifices, of giving up so much and getting to the race and tripping over and falling? What I loved about this incident was that there was no anger, there was no blame, there was no animosity. They both took equal responsibility. They accepted their role in their failure, and what they did was they smiled at each other, chatted, put their arms around each other and walked to the finish line. I think that is true sportsmanship. So that's my number one. Number two, and this was very well publicised. So this is Mutaz Essa Bashim and Juan Marco Tamperi from Italy. And Bashim, I'm really pleased because he got a bronze in London, a silver in Rio, and he got a gold here in Tokyo. So after a hard-fought competition, there was nothing between these two athletes, and there was nothing to define one of them as the overall winner. So they shared the gold medal, which has happened before. But I think what was highlighted in this was their acceptance and the mutual respect for each other. Before, when it's happened, there's been a little bit of bearing of a grudge and unhappiness. But in this occasion, both athletes were delighted and there was an acceptance and respect for each other, and it really showed a gesture of true sportsmanship. So that's my number 2. Number 3, some of you may not know this guy. This is Tom Daley, a British diver. It was his 3rd Olympics, and he managed to secure a gold in diving. And a few years ago, he declared himself gay, and in fact, actually, Tokyo Olympics had 173 LGBTQ athletes participating, the highest ever. And what I like about Tom is he's got a huge social media following, all very positive. He seems to be able to attract positive comments, but he dares to be different, and he's not ashamed to be different. And in fact, actually, he promotes himself as being different, and people really respect him for that. And he spent his leisure time at the Olympics knitting, and that's the jumper that he knitted, as well as little pouches for his gold and bronze medal that he was awarded. And something that struck me at the weekend when we heard from Agustir, our ex-head boy, talking about time management, he said you must always find time. It doesn't matter how much studies you have, you must always find time for something for you, something that you want to do, some of your leisure time, something of your hobbies. And I think Tom displays that in his knitting. It's a way of actually mentally getting away from diving and sport and actually relaxing. And I think Agustir gave that strong message at the weekend as well. It's important that you find ways to relax and get away from the stress of working. Okay, next one. Very highly publicised, Simone Biles. She was on course to get about 5 gold medals in gymnastics, but after doing 1 vault, she pulled out. And it's great that actually athletes now, because it is a high-pressured environment training for the athletes, and in particular Simone, who is doing an individual sport where all the attention's on her, but she prioritised her mental health over fame and success. And I think it's a highlighting that actually it's important to know yourself, know what your limits are, and to be honest and open about, you know, what you're feeling and how you want to overcome problems. And despite receiving criticism, I believe she showed bravery, openness and honesty. And it's taken me a long time to understand that actually winning isn't everything. I always have that mentality. But it's about actually the journey that you take and how you overcome obstacles. So actually, well done to Simone, and she eventually got a bronze. I think it was on the beam, so she did well. But good for her for pulling out when she didn't feel that it was right for her. Number 5. Yeah, I loved all the new sports, although I did question whether some of them were actually sports. But the inaugural skateboarding competition, I think the average age on the podium was something like 14 years. And skateboarding was dominated by teenagers. And I can't believe the way that the resilience and the determination that these young athletes showed. And I felt that these sports showed a refreshing level of camaraderie amongst the competitors. You know, they were genuinely consoling each other. They were giving unfailing praise. And that's not been seen in sport at this level before. And I just feel that it was a breath of fresh air, and the culture that they gave around some of these new sports was really great. Youthful energy, and it actually gave us a new insight into competitiveness. So I really loved watching the skateboarding. Number 6, yeah, very interestingly, the picture up on the right-hand side is the Norwegian beach volleyball team, who didn't want to wear the revealing outfits that are required for this sport, but actually they were fined, and they were told that they didn't meet the clothing requirements for the sport. So it was up to the German athletes, who are on the left, that made a strong statement that actually it's no longer acceptable to expect female athletes to wear skimpy outfits and to reveal their bodies, and that women should be judged the same as men for actually their skills and talents, as opposed to what they look like and what they're wearing. And I think this will become an even more prominent feature as we head towards the next Olympics. But the German gymnastics team made a very strong stand about this. Next one. Yeah, and I've chosen, I think what I particularly liked about the Olympics was all the individual stories behind the performances and the successes. There were stories of injuries, there were stories of real tough times, and there were stories of athletes performing despite the odds and performing in difficult situations. And I've chosen two. I've chosen Bethany, who won a gold in the BMX, and another new sport. She actually received, in the UK, athletes receive funding based on the sport's performances. And BMX was new, so she received no money to travel to Tokyo, no government funding, no lottery funding. So actually, she set up a crowdfunding website where she gained her funding for not only her equipment, but also the travel to Tokyo and staying in the Olympic Village. So, you know, good for her. Not only did she have to perform highly at her sport, but also she had to overcome other difficulties. And also in the UK, and I'm sorry about the result against the women's hockey, but Rani Rampal, the captain of the Indian hockey team, she was determined to get herself out of poverty and to better her life, and she saw her way out through hockey. And not only is she the captain of women's hockey, but she's a real advocate for fair, inclusive representation in sport here in India. And she's, you know, a fantastic, some of what she's done is fantastic. So, as I said, performing despite challenges. And, you know, both of these athletes and many more showed real grit and determination to get through. Next one. I think at Tokyo Olympics, there were far more mixed events, which I was really pleased about, probably because GB did quite well in them. But I like to think that here at TISB, girls and boys are equal in what they achieve. And certainly in academics, girls and boys are equal in achievement. And it's nice to see that actually, even though men are naturally physically stronger, faster, it's good to see that actually both genders are performing on an equal footing, and both are respected for what they achieve, and both are able to take part alongside each other. And I think this is a really strong message, not only for sport, but also for many, many societies around the world, that actually men and women are on an equal footing. Number 9, only 2 more to go. Number 9, support. Now at the Tokyo Olympics, there were no audiences, no crowds, no spectators. And many of the athletes actually said that they struggled with that. Because actually part of their success, or a big part of their success, is not only having the skills and the training behind them, but it's also to have that support behind them. And I think many of us take the support that we have in our everyday lives for granted. We all need support. And I think it's important, these are just 2 athletes that openly showed that they missed and they needed that support. And I think it's important that we do recognise and identify what our support systems are, and we nurture them and appreciate them, and obviously use them as well. And finally, India's performance. India got the most medals ever in an Olympic Games, and it's good to see that hockey's making a revival. It's good to see that there were many individual female achievers at Tokyo Olympics, and the javelin, which is always seen as a non-Indian sport, to have a gold in that event was hugely successful. Now I believe that whether you're sporty or not, whether you don't care about the Olympics or whether you watched as much as you could, I think it's important to actually recognise the collective achievement. So whether it's a school, whether it's your class, whether it's your family, whether it's your country, it's important to associate yourself with some collective achievement, because actually it will motivate you yourself. So I would like to feel that there is a real sense of pride in the Indian performances, and also a sense of belonging and a sense of motivation to achieve shared goals and success. Okay, there's many, many more I can talk about, but those were my top 10. And I'd like to thank you for listening, and also I'd like you to bear in mind some of the messages that have come from the Olympics, because actually it's very relevant to everything that we do here at TISB. Okay, thank you. Now, coming on to a very important and slightly different competition is something that the head boy and head girl is going to talk about, and that is Vivum. So thank you and have a good week.
Hey guys, this is Rohan, and I'm extremely excited to be the head boy for the upcoming academic year.
Hello everyone, my name is Shrishti Kulkarni and I'm so honored to be serving as the head girl for this year.
I feel that this year gives each one of us the opportunity to grow as human beings, as well as strive towards as good as we can be.
Firstly, I'm so excited for this new year to begin because of the new beginnings, new friendships, and new experiences that all of us are going to have.
Obviously, last year it was a COVID-driven year with COVID taking over and us barely having any time in physical school. So hopefully this year, that's one thing that I hope we could potentially have: physical school opening up, and obviously getting back to normal and getting everyone back onto campus. And with that, I want to welcome each one of you to this academic year, and I wish you guys all the best.
Obviously, I'm biased because this is the year that we have our Vivum, so I'm super excited for that. But I really hope and I'm sure that everyone will have a great year ahead.
As you guys know, Vivum is starting today and it will be on for the next 5 days till August 14th.
Some of you may know that we've already kind of kickstarted Vivum with the preliminary rounds this weekend, and we're hard at work to make sure we get you an incredibly amazing opening and closing ceremony, which is going to be one for the ages most definitely.
India's largest inter-school fest. This year we've been forced to take it online due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And it ranges from bringing in numerous different sponsors, having a vast amount of events for our participants, and obviously donating all our proceeds to charity, because Vivum is a complete charitable event.
So just talking a little bit about Vivum, we've got some stellar events for you this year, including the brand new stand-up comedy show, game show, the Snake Pit, which is our version of Shark Tank, our poetry and rap battle, and of course, esports and sports, drama, music, dance, and fashion, with a myriad of sub-events for each of these, and which is sure to pique your interest.
So we've tried to include as many events as we can this year, essentially to ensure that it caters to each one of your needs and interests, and each one of you can enjoy the event to the fullest.
Apart from the amazing events that we've had, we're also going to have some amazing guest speakers and shows coming up. So stay tuned to our Instagram page at Vivum2021 and all other social media that we have, which you can find on our website, Vivum21.com.
Almost 95% of our grade involved with Vivum has made things very, very easy and smooth sailing, but obviously we did face numerous challenges with a couple of different events. Trying to bring in sponsors during these times was a bit of a hassle, as well as essentially trying to market some of the events to numerous schools, and going global this year was a slight challenge, but obviously each of our departments handled each of the problems that we faced effectively and did the best we could with the 2 months that we have.
Obviously this year Vivum is online again, which makes it a little bit hard, but we're working even harder to make it bigger and better than it's ever been before. And we are sure that it's not going to disappoint you this year.
With Vivum does come amazing merchandise every year, raffle tickets, opportunities to win AirPods, JBL speakers, and so on. So I encourage each one of you, if you're watching this, to ensure as soon as you finish watching this, or even right now, you don't have to listen to me the whole way, but make sure you buy your merchandise, make sure you buy your raffle tickets. It gives you guys an amazing opportunity to bring forward and to help the cause, to help people during these trying times, and do your bit.
At the heart of all our merchandise is charity, because all our proceeds from merchandise go to charity. And this year, even by buying one bit of our merchandise or one design, you'll be able to help ameliorate the COVID-19 situation around us and help healthcare and mental health in India. So please, please, please do buy the merch, not only because there are some amazing designs, but also because at the heart of it all lies our charity initiative.
If you're watching this video, it's essential. You must go watch Vivum on our YouTube channel. You have all the details. Make sure you go to Vivum. Make sure you go to the Vivum channel this evening and stream the event. Watch the event. Watch your teachers. Watch your students participate. I'm sure they're gonna win. Students, encourage your other friends to participate. Watch yourselves win prizes. Watch your friends win prizes. And do this for the next couple of days, and I'm sure you guys are going to have an extreme blast after school.
So please, please make sure that you tune in to our videos that are going to come up on our YouTube channel this week, to make sure to support our participants, our fellow Trojans, and also to support all the people who've joined us from across the globe to participate in our annual student-led charity fest. Getting back to the new academic year a little bit, I hope all of you build some strong friendships and some great networks this year, and have some amazing plans that we hope are also going to help you out with building these networks and this strong support system.
And obviously this year, I'd like to stress the importance of ensuring to take care and take time out for yourself amongst the numerous different challenges and numerous different challenges you face this year. And every year, I've been through each one of these years. Every year is extremely stressful, but it's extremely rewarding. So there's a lot to bring out of it. I'd say try to make the most out of each of your classes. Try to make the most out of your teachers. Everyone's here to help you.
Some of you may have already experienced our icebreaker sessions, and we really hope you enjoyed them. Each one of us who conducted it had the time of our lives doing it, and we've got some very similar and very interesting initiatives planned throughout the year. So just keep engaging with them like the way you did with the icebreakers, and we're sure that it's going to be unforgettable.
Reach out to whoever you want to. Make as many new friends as you can, even though we're on a virtual platform. Grade 12 is trying to do their best to bring forward everything we can to make this event, make this year as interactive, as fun as possible. The other thing that you probably don't want to hear is switch on your cameras, but obviously that's super important, and it keeps classes really, really interactive. It helps the teachers move forward. It makes them feel really, it's a blessing for them just to watch and to see each of their students responding and understanding in class.
Obviously, going online again with school means that it's more important than ever to stay connected as a network, pardon the pun, and we want to facilitate just that. So I would like to reiterate that you can feel free to reach out to any of us for anything, and just, if you want to get to know someone else better, reach out to them. I'm sure that they'd love to do it too.
We do have a cohort of around 150 people, and I can't stress the importance for each one of you. If you have any issues, concerns, just reach out to any one of us and we would be happy to help you. So all the best for this year, and I hope you guys have a great year ahead.
And please tune into Vivum this year, this week, and looking forward to seeing you all very, very soon. So this year, watch Vivum and hope you have fun against all odds.
Hi, I'm Krishna, and this is my 7th year at TISB.
Hi everyone, my name is Anandita Kapoor. I'm a grade 12 student and I'll be a part of PSG this year.
Hey everyone, I'm Pranav Goval and I joined TISB last year in grade 11.
Hi everyone, I'm Vedanshi and I'm a member of this year's Peer Support Group.
The stress-inducing years of high school and middle school, they can be quite taxing, particularly on our mental health, and that is why PSG exists.
Having been a new student, I know exactly what it's like entering a new school and feeling like you've been thrown into this unfamiliar setting. It can be quite intimidating and stressful, especially when you start off the year online. And even if you aren't a new student, generally finding yourself in a new environment, either academically or otherwise, can be rather confusing at times.
We're here to help you and just be a safe space for you to rant about anything that's bothering you, and it could range from academics to sports to literally anything.
I enjoy playing music and reading books. And if there's anything you guys want to talk about, anything you want to get off your mind, I'm always here to listen.
Please feel free to reach out to me, to talk to me, if you need advice, help on literally any matter.
So, if any of you ever need any help to feel more settled in the school, need to feel more comfortable academically, or just need some general guidance in coping with the new environment,
So please feel free to reach out to me or any of us on our PSG email IDs, and we'll be there to talk to you.
Just email me at my PSG email ID and I'll be there.
please do get in touch with me, and I'd be happy to listen to you talk about anything that you'd like at any time.
And I'm looking forward to be a friend to all of you.
Looking forward to seeing some of you.
My previous year in the school has been a brilliant experience. I've met some great people, and I quite quickly found myself as a part of the TISB community. And I'd like to do everything possible in my capacity to ensure that your experience in the school is going to be just as good as mine was.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Rohan, and I'm so honored to be speaking here today. It's one of the things that I've always dreamed of since reaching IB. First off, I'd like to thank teachers so much for adapting and having the patience to deal with me during this exceptionally difficult year. I'd like to especially thank my science teachers, Ms. Jacinta, Dr. Sindhu, and Ms. Deepa for their tireless help with IAs and EEs. This year, it's been so uncertain because we knew they were so much more important, but we had no idea how to collect data or how to write without the labs at our disposal. But thanks to them, we still managed to survive and innovate. This has been such a weird year that I often feel, do I deserve the results that I've achieved? I often wonder if I would have gotten a 45 had there been boards. This sort of imposter syndrome has always been a problem for me, and I feel a common problem at TISB. Surrounded by so many exceptionally smart people with high academic standards and with the foreseeable future online, it's easy to feel isolated and that you don't belong. I have to thank my friends and my teachers for helping me get over this and realizing the importance of self-belief, without which I couldn't have succeeded. I think that my biggest mistake during IB was to overwhelm myself with studies to distract myself from the things that bothered me, rather than addressing them directly. Being queer, there were many times that I felt very alone, and overwhelming myself academically was not a healthy coping mechanism. Being ashamed of part of myself made me feel like the rest of me, especially my academics, had to be perfect. But I want to say that it's very possible to do well academically and figure out who you are in terms of your identity. That's what I was able to do by the end of my time at TISB, and I have my friends, especially my queer friends, to thank for this, and the teachers and the family who accepted me. Whether you're queer or not, you don't need to prove that you're perfect by working beyond your limits. I learned to celebrate the small achievements alongside the big ones that everyone celebrates. Success comes in many forms, whether it's academics, music, or just accepting myself or getting through a day. I think that we realize our full potential when we strive for excellence for our own sake and own happiness, not to prove something to the rest of the world. Thank you for listening, and thank you TISB for making me the person that I am today during these amazing 7 years.